Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me. I am Sharifah Hardie, and I have a very special guest in the studio today. I have Mr. Dwayne Muffla Simon, one of the original pioneers of hip hop. He's gone from hip hop out of hip hop, and guess what? He's back. So we're going to find out everything he's been up to. Good morning, Mr. Simon. How are
Good
you?
morning. Good morning. I am doing wonderful. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you for asking. So I know I looked through your history, through your bio, and you have done some amazing things. So tell us, how did you get your start in hip hop?
I started out with hip hop actually in music, DJing with a DJ group, a promotions group in LA called Uncle Jam's Army. I don't know if you remember them. You're a youngster, so Uncle Jam's Army was and we started out with Uncle Jam's Army. And it moved on from there to, making beats and stuff like that. Roger Clayton, rest in peace. That's my cousin. And all the guys from Uncle Jim's on, and we just started DJing. And I guess making music is a natural progression for a DJ, So eventually you're going to want to make your own beats instead of playing everybody else's beats. So we made our own stuff, back then. And it got into the right hands of Russell Simmons. And the rest is the story. I don't know if you do. How much time do you have?
we have at least enough time to get into a little bit. But before we even start talking about Russell Simmons and where you went and where you wound up, you make everything sound so simple, so easy. Like, we just started making beats. How did you learn how to make beats? Like, what was the process for you?
Wow. To be honest with you, I can speak for me. And maybe a couple of my partners like Darryl. Darryl Pierce is my partner. And Bobcat, we all worked together at LA Posse. That was another group that, was born out of Uncle Jam's Army. But we were just having fun. Mm-hmm. We were just, we really didn't know the business, the business side of it, taking care of, publishing and copyrights and all. We didn't know nothing about that. All we wanted to see who could make the dopest beats with any type of drum machine. We started out with a Dr. Rhythm. The Dr. Rhythm was about the size of my phone. You know what I'm saying? And we used to make little beats with that at the record shop where Roger had, my cousin Roger had. And it started with that. And then it evolved into more drum machines. Like the 808 was the real popular drum machine back then, which has evolved into something I guess we'll talk about later right now. But the 808 was the ultimate drum machine back then for us West Coast guys, So Egyptian Lover was the hot 808 guy. He was a hot 808 programmer on the West Coast. But on the East Coast, I learned a lot. I started out Egypt. Egypt started me out with learning how to, program the 808 drum machine. But then when I got to the East Coast, it was Rick Rubin who showed me how to make a 808 do amazing things that I didn't know, So it was a combination of both. And then I passed it on to Chill Will from the Get Fresh crew with Dougie Fresh and them. I passed it on. Yeah, you pass on knowledge, information, and it worked out. It was fun.
So you started having fun, but then you went from just having fun to doing it professionally. So how did you make the leap?
It got into the right hands. I don't want to preach to you, but God had his hands on our lives for some reason. He guided our path. It was a path that was predestined. And it got into the right hands at the right times. The story of how we got on was the BRE. I don't know if you heard of BRE. BRE was one of the biggest, music conventions back in the day. Everybody comes and, shop their wares. It's like a big old flea market, basically. You know what I'm saying? But it was a checkout day. It was a Sunday morning, but there was one more party that night. It was the Columbia party. But everybody was pretty much checking out of their hotel rooms and going to hang out all day, go to the party and then catch the red eye out. They didn't need a hotel room, So everybody was checking out. Everybody was sitting in the lobby. It was 1986, I think it was. 85, something like that. And everybody was in the lobby, and Russell Simmons was sitting down in a chair. Everybody was around. I had a couple of hundred people in the lobby. And he was sitting around. He was just listening to people's demos, cassettes. Somebody had a cassette player, and he was just playing stuff and dissing them, just throwing them out and dissing them, throwing them out. And me and Darryl looked at each other. We had a cassette of our homeboy that we had been working on named Breeze. L.A. Breeze.
Okay.
Working on him. And so we said, all right, you know, and we knew Russell from the parties that Uncle Jam's Army had promoted. We were the first guys to bring Run-D.M.C to the West Coast. Run-D.M.C, Houdini, Curtis Blow, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, UTFO, and all that stuff. Russell had all those groups, or he had his hands in all those groups somehow. So we already knew Russell, so we were gonna just play, you know, let him play our stuff. But everybody around us, that was before the word haters came out. I mean, everybody was waiting for us to get dissed, just like everybody else was getting dissed. Russell was just playing it for like 10, 15 seconds, you know, not even that long. If it was really bad, and he'd take it out and just throw it out. Who's this? Here, take this, get away from me. You know what I'm saying? And Russell was just he must have dissed about 20, 30 people before we even got to him. Because he was just sitting there, you know, waiting to check out and just hanging out, really. And so we gave him our demo of Breeze, and the demo was called Popcorn.
Okay.
It was a demo that we had cut. And Russell played it for like 15 seconds, stopped it, rewound it, and started playing it again. And everybody that was laughing, because when he hit the button to stop it, everybody's like us, and y'all got, you know, everybody thought he was gonna just toss it. He said, no, he rewound that shit. That's the first time out of all the people he was listening to that he rewound the shit. So he rewound it, played it. He said, who is this? He said, this is you? And my name wasn't Muff then. It was Dwayne. Everybody just called me Dwayne. And who's this? This yours? And he's like, I said, like, yeah, this is Breeze. He said, who's with you? It said, you and who? It says, me and my man Breeze here. And then Darryl was standing next to me, and Darryl nudged me. He said, yo, don't forget my homeboy. And like, yo. And I said, oh yeah, okay, my homeboy Darryl. We, you know, it was me, him, and Darryl, because Darryl's the one that actually found Breeze. You know, okay. So we said, all right, I tell you what. And Russell said, okay, Bill Stephanie, who I'll work with Def Jam, call Heidi right now and tell them I want these guys in New York next week. I want them in New York. You guys are my new group. I'm introducing you guys tonight at the Columbia party as the new act for Def Jam, such. And just like that, our life changed. Just like
wow, that is incredible.
Like I mean, he said, dude, he pulled out his wallet. He said, here's my credit card. Get what you want. I don't care what, it doesn't matter. You guys are my new group. You guys are gonna come to LA, and I mean, come to New York, and Bill, call Heidi right now. I want them in New York next week. And that was on a Sunday afternoon. We went to the party. We didn't act a fool. We were like, look, you got to know where I live right now. I live in a little town called Little Rock. It's 9 miles east of Palmdale. And really, it's not even Little Rock. It's really Sun Village. It's a really small town where only black people could live back in the day. And it's the desert. So you can't imagine the culture shock from going from the desert in Palmdale in Southern California on a Sunday afternoon, and then Tuesday morning, 6 a.m., you're standing on the corner of 41st and Broadway.
In New York City.
Was, okay, we didn't trip out. We didn't do the Mary Tyler Moore, throw the hat in the air shit. But we did get beat as 3-card Molly in the first 15, 20 minutes we there. We lost $50. So.
Wow, that's incredible. It almost sounds like a fairy tale. You know what I mean? This whole fairy tale.
Yeah, it was almost like that. But we weren't really, mind you, we still had not grasped what was going on. You know, we did not grab it. All we know is Russell liked our shit. We went to the Columbia party, and by the time we walked in the door, everybody in that room knew who we were.
Oh, wow.
That's all I knew. And from that point, I went home, and the rest of it was a blur between Sunday and Tuesday morning, because we was on a red eye Monday night and got there Tuesday morning, and we was in New York.
That's incredible.
And everybody that was standing around, we didn't see them again until the following year.
Wow. We're going to talk about the following year. We're going to talk about that year. But I just want to go back to that moment, back to LA, back to the small town. And let me just ask you this, because you mentioned Uncle Jam's Army. And I know just from watching Straight Outta Compton and seeing the posters in the movie that there were a lot of groups around. It wasn't just, you know, like you were the only group, you were the only ones, but you were the one who received this particular opportunity, correct?
Well, yeah, we were a subgroup of a group. Uncle Jam's Army, you got to remember, Uncle Jam's Army had a lot of tentacles.
Okay.
From Uncle Jam's Army came the Egyptian Lover, Bobcat, who was with us, you know, with LA Posse. The LA Posse came from Uncle Jam's Army. Ice Cube, Ice-T used to hang with us. All the, you know, Dre and them guys were our competition. You know, so we all knew each other. But Uncle Jam's Army being the largest music production group of that kind, being the largest and the most popular. I mean, we were doing dances at the sports arena, 10,000 people. You know what I'm saying? Without no acts, we just DJs. You know what I'm saying? You know, when we did have acts, sometimes we wouldn't have 10,000. We'd have 7,000. Like when Run-D.M.C first came out, I think we had 7,000 or 8,000 that night. But it was just us having fun. There was no, I mean, the gangbangers came, of course, but they came out to party. They didn't come to fight. I mean, they was going to fight eventually somewhere, but it wasn't going to be right there. They was not going to mess up that party.
Not there that night. But you mentioned the group. You know, there were a lot of big names. I mean, Ice-T has been on television probably since then. I mean, he's still on television.
Ice-T, matter of fact, there's a story about Ice-T. When we left from the airport, he met us at the airport when we were leaving to wish us off, to see us off and wish us well. So, I mean, everybody wasn't hating. You know, the Dream Team wasn't hating. Those were all our boys. And the next time I saw Rudy and Snake and them guys, we came back. It was a good time. You know, we didn't act like jerks, and we got a little support, you know, from the people who support us. They support us. The ones that didn't, they didn't. We had guys that came to New York with us, you know, or followed us there. Followed me, Darryl, and Breeze. And then I think Roger and Keith Cooley and somebody else came with Roger one time. And then Gid Martin from Uncle Jam's Army, he came out. He helped us with our contract. He was one of the first guys to help us with some of our first contracts. And then when we got ready to do the LL stuff, we sent for Bobcat. It was just me, Darryl, and Breeze. But then when we got ready to do the LL stuff, it was just me and Darryl. And then we sent for Bobcat because, you know, the DJs that LL was using wasn't getting it to us. You know, we West Coast DJing, we was on another level. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't boogie, you know, which was cool. That was my type of style of stuff. But they couldn't do they couldn't do that type of stuff, you know. But so we sent for Bobcat, and that's how Bob became part of the LA Posse. He was actually Breeze's DJ before he left and went with LA.
Was it difficult for you to go from LA to, even if you were in Little Rock or the city, from that environment to New York City? What, I mean, did you have to quit your job? What were, you know, whatever, was this a big change for you?
Well, for me personally, let me speak for me first.
Okay.
For me, it wasn't a big thing because I'd been around the world a couple of times already. I was in the military.
Okay.
So I've been a lot of places already. But for Darryl, well, Breeze, his family was from New York, so it wasn't a big stretch for him. His family was from uptown, you know, up in the Harlem area, but he lived in LA, so it wasn't a big shock for him. For Darryl, I think it was a culture shock. It was a culture shock, but he got used to it. He got used to it, put it that way. You know, he fixed it the way it worked for him. But for Darryl, because I don't know, because me and Darryl had just met not too long before that.
Okay.
You know, Darryl and I met in my early Uncle Jam's Army days when I would branch off and throw my own little parties out here in Palmdale. Darryl and Lester from Uncle Jam's Army, what up, Les? He would, you know, we would throw dances together at the fairgrounds. You know, we throw our own little dances. So that's how I met with Darryl. You know, he wanted to throw a dance, and they got with me, and he said, you know, one word of mouth got around, and we did our own thing. But then Darryl started hanging with me, and Lester started hanging with me at the Uncle Jam's Army dances. you know.
Okay.
So that's how that came about.
It sounds like a lot of fun. You have a team of people, you have a group of people, you have all these supporters. It just sounds like an incredible movie. That's what it sounds like to me. So hopefully one day there will be a movie.
You're not far from it, because Greg Mack, the Egyptian Lover, Edwin Foss, who's pretty much the money man for Uncle Jam's Army,
Okay.
Adrian Clayton, Roger's sister, she has the estate. I've been talking about some type of film.
Okay.
It's got to be the right thing. It's got to be the right situation. It's got to be the right everything. So.
In the right time, definitely the right time. So we're in New York. You land in New York, and what happens next? What is that like?
Okay, we land in New York. We're staying at this hotel. Russell. That's when I first realized how much of a cheap bastard Russell.
You say that with so much love. We say that all the world.
I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I love Russell Simmons, no matter how much of a jerk or a crook or whatever he may be. Whatever it is, I like Russell. You pick your friends, and all your friends ain't angels, you know.
I understand that well.
You don't just consider me as close as I consider him.
Okay.
Russell was so cheap. We stayed at this little hotel called the Collingwood.
Mm-hmm.
Downtown. I mean, matter of fact, it was in Times Square, but it was off on one of them off streets, like you see Hollywood Boulevard and you see Yucca on the next street.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was the seedy area. So we stayed in the Collingwood, and our breakfast every morning was a short dog of Old E and a piece of carrot cake. That's what we ate every morning.
That's nutritional.
It was there, and we would treat ourselves every once in a while to a hot dog on the corner.
Okay.
So I had like $150 to my name. So Russell's the one that shipped us out there. And Darryl, I don't know, he might have had $120, maybe $200. I don't know. I don't remember. We didn't have much money between us. Put it that way. And Breeze had a place to stay. He was staying uptown with his family. So when we had to go to the studio, he just ride the train down. But me and Darryl was struggling. And we went to Heidi Smith. She was our savior. The whole time we were in, our whole Def Jam experience would not have been what it was if it wasn't for Heidi.
Okay. What did Heidi do? How did Heidi do?
In every phase of the game, Heidi was our savior. And so Heidi sometimes she would loan us money out of her own pocket, So we started complaining to Russell, dude, we ain't got no money. And Russell told us, okay, save your receipts. At the end of the week, go see Bert Fidel. He was the Def Jam or the hip hop accountant. Go see Bert Fidel, turn your receipts, and they'll reimburse you. I'm like, all right. And us being from Palmdale, trying to be cool, honest, not knowing how the industry really is. You better get your money where you can get your money. But we tried to be as honest as we could with these receipts. Whatever receipts we got, we turn them in. If I had $150, $180 receipts, that's how much I expected. That went on for like 2 or 3 weeks. After that, New York set in. We was picking up receipts off the ground, jacking niggas for their receipts. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The receipts, man. Yo, break yourself for them receipts. It was crazy. So the next time we go see Bert Fidel, I'm not getting $180. I'm getting like $3,800. $3,000, whatever. And so that went on for a while. But every day, as far as work was concerned, Russell would always have us in the studio. That's when we first got to Chung King House of Metal. Chung King, and when we first met Steve Ed, rest in peace. Steve Ed taught me so much about recording and about just the phonics. You know what I'm saying? Just the man, just the sound, and he taught me so much about recording. But that's the first time I ever going to the world famous Chung King House of Metal. We worked there for months, just cutting demos on Breeze. Demo. And Russell wasn't hearing anything he was sounding too much like LL to Russell. So Russell shelved him. To Russell, he was sounding too much like LL. He really was just sounding like Breeze. But Russell shelved him because he didn't have room. He was concentrating on LL. And LL was where his money was going. Breeze could have interfered with that. He really couldn't.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So he sends Breeze home. But we're sitting there with nothing to do because you just sent our work home.
Right.
So
but why only send him home then? Why not all three of you?
what to do production? No, Breeze wasn't a producer. Breeze was the rapper. He was the artist that we were supposed to
but
have.
you came to produce.
Yeah, but we were the music makers. You know, I was making the music and Darryl was handling the business side of it. You know, because Darryl was just learning the business. We were both learning all of it. So we were rookies. You know what I'm saying? So Darryl, we told Russell, went to Russell. He called he called him and said, dude, we got rent to pay. You know what I'm saying? We got to, by then we had got us an apartment.
Okay.
You know, and it was a penthouse actually, but it was in Brooklyn, and it was, I think it was like $1,300 or $1,500. And we shared it with this one girl named Donna. What's up, Donna? Donna was our homegirl. She was a big help in when we first got to New York. She was our guide because she knew New York like the back of her hand. So we had an apartment, but we had to pay rent. And so Russell said, okay, look, I'm gonna put you guys to work. I'm gonna put you guys in the studio with LL. And we're like, what? So but the reason being because it was time for him to do his next album. He had just finished radio. The success of radio had died down. He was ready to restart recording his next album. But Russell and Rick Rubin were shooting Tougher Than Leather. And they didn't have time to go in the studio with LL. So we were really just there to keep him busy.
Okay.
Basically, until Rick and them guys could finish. So we went months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months recording this album. And we had got to a certain point where, what it was, Russell and them guys had just finished shooting the movie. And Russell called us and sent a limo for us. He was in the limo, of course. But he sent a limo for us to pick us up. We could just ride around New York and listen to what we made. He said, all right, let me see what you guys got. And we had cassettes now. And we played him I'm Bad, I Need Love, Go Cut Creator Go. We played a lot of stuff for him.
That's funny. Saturday, I was driving because I work from home and I hardly ever listen to music unless I'm in the car. I get in the car on Saturday and what comes on? I Need Love. I was like, okay.
Plays a lot. And Russell, wait, don't get it twisted. Russell hated that song. Hated it.
How can you hate I Need Love?
No, these are his exact words.
Mm-hmm.
Really like that? That's not going on your album. That's some new edition bubblegum bullshit. That's what he called it. New edition bubblegum bullshit. And LL fought for that record. He said, no, man, I want it on the record. It's going on the record. And so he put it on. And that's why Russell, out of spite, never, if people will notice, I Need Love was never a single.
Mm-hmm.
Never a single. You had to buy the album to get I Need Love. And that's what pushed it over 3 million.
Yes, that was the song. I remember that, everybody.
It was smart on Russell's part not to release it as a single, but he was stupid. He did it. It was a mistake. You know what I'm saying? He should have really released it as a single, but it wouldn't have pushed the album over the top line. So it was it was a good mistake.
What else did you do while you were in New York? What happened? It's like this had to be this exciting life, making music, riding around in limos.
No. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that for us. Mm-hmm. After we finished recording the LL album, they had set up a tour for it, the Def Jam tour. It was LL Cool J, Houdini, Eric B. and Rakim, Public Enemy, Stetson Sonic, some days with Dougie Fresh, some days with Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, some days with Run-D.M.C.
Okay.
So I was not traveling with LL. I was going to stay at home. Actually, wait a minute. That's not how it went. Let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
we had to pay rent again.
Motivates you.
And we were telling Russell, dude, we're gonna have to go home. He said, no, you guys can't go home. You got a lot of work to do. You got a lot of this, that. He said, well, dude, we don't have no money. He said, okay, go out on the road with LL until, I call you guys back and then I'll put you guys back to work.
Okay.
But I wasn't going. I was not gonna go. I was older than everybody else. To me, LL was what, 19?
He was young. He was pretty young.
Yeah, he was young. And I was like 26, 27. Wow. So my crew that I hung with other than Jam Master Jay was my best friend when I was in New York. Him and Jaleel from Houdini.
Okay.
Those were my best friends in New York. And when LL and them guys got ready to go, it was like a day or two before they were leaving to go, go get their buses and all that stuff in front of Def Jam. Jaleel came over to the house. He said, "You're not going on the road with L?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm staying here." He's like, "Dude, why don't you come out with us?" I'm like, "Really? I could, as a roadie. Come as a roadie." I'm like, "Okay, I'll go." Come to find out, it was $350 a week in per diem, and then Jaleel was giving me $800 a show, and it was 5 shows a week. I'm like, okay, I'll go. You know what I'm saying? It was hard. So I went with Houdini. And that's how we ended up paying rent. Well, that's how we were supposed to end up paying rent, because at our apartment, aside from Donna being there, which Donna actually had to move, Nikki D, I don't know if you remember her, Nikki D and her friend Dawn were staying at our apartment while we were gone. And they was supposed to be, we were sending them money home and they were supposed to be paying the rent. And the next thing you know, we done lost the apartment. So it was,
wow. After all of that.
Yeah, after all of that, but yeah. But that's how we got on the road. So that's what happened in between making the album. And then making the next album after that. In between that, we were on the road, and when we got back, Russell called us and said, "Okay, you guys got to come home." And he sent Lee Orr to get us, because we wasn't coming off the road because we were making too much money and having too much fun.
I can imagine.
Yeah, we were on that tour. That tour went almost a year. You see what I'm saying? And then when the tour broke off and went to Europe, Houdini already have been to Europe. So we broke off from the tour and went to the Caribbean and to Brazil. That was so much fun. I love that. That's the first time I've ever been to South America and the Caribbean. I ended up buying a condo down in the Caribbean just from the visit. I'm like, man. Yeah, man.
You have to come back. This is the place I want to come.
Yeah, that's why. That was the place to be. And the way that was set up, that was cool. And then when they came back from Europe, all beat up and tired. And we kept it going. When they came back to the United States, we had another 3 or 4 weeks to go for the tour. And we did the tour then. And then we came home. And then it was time to do the next LL wanted to go ahead and do the next album.
Okay, he was ready to go. He was, let's get back to
go. And, we already had chemistry, but him and Bobcat had got into it or something. They had a disagreement. And Darryl said the money wasn't right for him. And so Todd, we were staying across the street from each other in Queens. And so he came, he said, "Yo, I want to cut this album. You down?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." It wasn't no thing to me. And when they, the money wasn't great, the second album, because again, remind you, I'm still having fun.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
It's fun. You're enjoying yourself.
It should have been way better, and it still will be, but it should have been way better than it was. But we got in there and we did the Walking with a Panther album. I did 90% of the album, I think. The Bomb Squad did a couple of songs. Other than that, I did the whole album. Just me and him, just me and Todd. And out of that album came Big Old Butt, Jingling Baby, you know, that type of stuff. So yeah, I'm that type of guy. All that stuff came out of that.
Okay, well, it seems that you were on the rise. I mean, anyone would look at your story, your life. I won't call it a story, but look at your life and say you're on the rise. You're heading this way. Why go away from music?
Okay. I can tell you the exact turning point of when the exact turning point of when it was time for me to walk away from music.
Okay.
I heard a song on the radio called Chicken Noodle Soup with a soda on the side. When I heard that and heard how big this song had gotten, I said, it's time for me to move. It's time for me to move on. This is not what this is not what we built. It's a fashion of hip hop. It's a kind of, you know, all music genres have their ebbs and flows and ups and downs, and you got your great records and you got your bullshit records. But I didn't understand the industry making the bullshit records great records. The integrity of music was being lost.
By one song? I mean, but just by one song. I mean, why not just...
I tried to grit my teeth through Superman That Hole, and it was all good. No, those were cool hip hop songs. But I felt the integrity of the genre and the integrity of the culture slipping away. Because when I would ask some of the youngsters because I worked around a lot of kids. You know, the people that are around are really young. And I would ask them questions, and they were like, "Oh, you ever heard of Biz Markie?" And they're like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "What? How can you do this and not know who you're doing it with? I mean, come on."
Right.
Yeah, you don't. There were no students of the game. None. Okay. They couldn't answer the simplest questions. I could go around and recite. I came in the door. I said it before. Or I could do. I'm the rap promoter. I start the motor until from New York. I can do that, and they would think that was me. You see what I'm saying? And they were like, "Dang, Coach Dwayne can rap." I'm like, "No, you idiot." I'm trying to show you something.
Yes.
When I saw that slipping away, it was time for me to go. Because I couldn't. It would be like an uphill battle of trying to do stuff with people that are not worth it, are not worthy. You're not worthy. I couldn't do it, so I crept away and did my first love, which was football. I coached football.
Right. So we are going to talk a little bit about the football. I want to talk about the coaching. So you went into coaching, but you coached for a number of years, but then you went from coaching and now you're back in entertainment. Is that correct?
Yes. When I left, my last venture was 1998. Crystal Lewis, it was a gospel project. She got Best New Artist for the Dove Awards, I think. She was my last artist.
Okay.
After that, I said, you know what, I'm going to coach youth sports. And I always wanted to coach youth sports. I tried to coach it in New York. They wouldn't let me because I was from the West Coast. You can't bring that West Coast stuff over here. You guys don't run the ball, all that stuff, like whatever. So they wouldn't let me in. But I got here and I started out coaching youth basketball, 9, 10, 11-year-olds. Now, mind you, those kids knew more about basketball than me.
Okay.
They knew way more, but that's how you got into the coaching ranks here in California. You had to get in where you could fit in, and they needed a coach. And all you do is, you motivate them. You keep them excited, keep them interested in the sport, and you're coaching.
So you had a love for the game, but you didn't necessarily have all the technical aspects and the technical verbiage of it.
Nothing for basketball. I mean, come on. I'm the only coach in history to ever lose a forfeit. Hey, come on. The only one ever to lose a forfeit. So,
how did you lose a forfeit?
Okay. My team was playing another team, but the other team only had 4 players. So they had to forfeit, but they still wanted to play the game. So we gave them one of our players, a girl that never hardly got to play on our team. We gave them her and said, okay, we'll play the game. You guys just use her as your 5th player. And they beat the crap out of her.
Oh, wow, wow. I find that almost unbelievable. You have so many amazing...
It was terrible coaching. Terrible. It was, it was all me. I didn't know what I was doing. But that's what got me in the door of coaching, because my next year, I coached youth football. It was my first time coaching youth football.
So you coach youth football, you continue to do coaching, and then you decided to start your own production company, Covert Entertainment Soundworks.
Covert was something I started in 2010 while I was coaching. It was just to test the waters, see where the music industry was with the type of stuff that I was doing, and they wasn't here. Nobody was hearing what I was trying to do, or that type of music, or that, it wasn't, the time was right. My stuff, how stuff comes back around?
Yes, absolutely.
It wasn't time yet. So I tested the waters a little bit, got back out of it, Covert, but I established it. You know what I'm saying? I established it with the Suspicious Packages 1, actually, just testing the waters. But that was the beginning of the brand. But as far as the talent on that didn't come until 2014. That's when I actually...
A few years later. So what was some of the talent in 2014 that joined you in Covert?
Okay. The stuff that I listened to, this album, to take for instance, Suspicious Packages 2, this was 4 years in the making, and there was a lot of artists that came through that I heard over the years. And I tell myself, if I do something, if I want to do something, I'll get in touch with you, and we'll see what's cracking. One of them is Philosophy. He's an old soul. He has a new vibe with old skills. He's an MC. There's a difference between a rapper and an MC. Anybody can rap. You bump your gums, you're rapping. But if you're an MC, that's a master of ceremony, a mic controller. That's what that is. And he's those things. So he's a real MC. There's some veterans that I'm working with, that I've worked with through the years. John Michael, he's one of them, very talented veteran R&B singer, a good songwriter, but he had the wrong production. He had the wrong direction. And he got with us and we got with him, and some good stuff has come out of that. Tayshawn Pierce, he's also involved. Samaje Sumter is another veteran. He's a little younger. He's like, early 30s. And he's got some good R&B. He's coming back around, bringing good R&B back around. Back in the H-Town days when, writing them good love songs. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then we got, there's a girl that we hooked up with. Her name was Erinessa Turner. She's a young girl, 24. Tia P, Alex Price, a white boy out of Canada. Move Over John B. And Justin Timberlake, he's a new kid in town. Y'all got to make room for this boy.
So this album is out. Is the album out now, or is the album coming soon?
Yes, no, the album is out on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music. It's out on all the formats, YouTube. All you got to do is look up Suspicious Packages 2. You can go to the website, www.covertentertainmentsoundworks.com/SoundLab. It'll take you right to the playlist, and you can listen to the music, give me some feedback on it. Cause I love the album. I'm the type of producer, I don't really like any other things, the stuff that I do. You know what I'm saying? That's how I critique myself. You got to discipline yourself. You can't like all your stuff. So I just choose not to like any of it, but something that really hits me, I'll gravitate to it. Like the only thing before this album that I've liked was the song I did, this gospel record called by T-Bone called Thief in the Night. That's one of my favorite records. But this album, I love the entire album. I love it. I've been listening to it for 4 years and I'm still not tired.
Wow, I'll have to check out that song by a T-Bone. But how did you come up with the title or the name for Suspicious Packages? I know it's Suspicious Packages too, but how did you initially come up with the name? Most people don't like Suspicious Packages.
I was thinking of a couple of things when I came up with that. The marketing aspect of it, because I saw this group, this rock group, I can't remember their name, but they had a bus on Hollywood, on the Hollywood freeway, and they stopped the bus and had a concert and stopped traffic. They
Oh,
stopped
wow.
traffic right on the freeway. And I'm like, wow, okay, somebody's going to jail for that, but the publicity was ridiculous.
Yes.
So I was thinking, maybe I'll make a CD. This is back when CDs were still, in.
Right, popular.
Make a CD, and I'm going to hide it all over the city in little black bags.
In a little suspicious package.
Yeah, but and then make a phone call, an anonymous phone call, so they'll go looking for that shit with the bomb squad, everything. Yeah, of course, I'm gonna go to jail. But
you don't mind, obviously.
Yeah, it was a publicity stunt. Come on, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I was thinking of it. But then I'm like, you know what? I can build a whole brand around this.
Exactly.
And then how the Lord would have it, and how timing is, this suspicious packages thing that Trump and all those things was going on, right about the time I was ready to drop the album.
Wow, timing is everything.
Yeah, timing was everything, because if you listen to the intro, all I did was take a whole bunch of news clippings.
Okay.
The stuff that was on the news, because all they kept saying was suspicious packages this, suspicious packages that. And they kept saying it, so I was editing the shit out of that shit. Intro to the album.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So do you just deal or work with musicians with Covert Entertainment? What is your goal?
My goal with this album, first of all, Covert was such a something, was an idea. It's someplace where I can dump my head.
Okay.
I
Be creative.
my head and just dump it on my own shit.
Okay.
So, but the main reason for this album is to expose mainly one guy. But philosophy, yes, all the artists on the album, I have some cameos from Doc Ice, Young Melee, Breeze, they're all on the album.
Okay.
So, but there's one guy in particular that I want to benefit. I want him to benefit from this whole music venture, and he hasn't been getting his just due. He's the West Coast best kept secret. His name is Ervin Hardie.
Ervin Hardie.
Just call him Earl.
Earl.
You'll probably never see Earl.
Okay. I want to see
Earl's voice ever, because Earl don't want to be in front of a camera. This is like kryptonite for him. You don't want to be in front of his camera. You don't want to ask you no questions. None of that. All he wants to do is make music. But for decades, I'm going to have to say it's been decades, Earl has not been getting his just due. He's been the foundation of a lot of people's sound and a lot of people's records, and people have been benefiting off of his hard, it ain't even hard work for him. I tease him about kicking greatness down the street like it's an empty can. He kicks it down the street.
Yes.
The boy is a freaking musical genius. I'm talking about
That's how geniuses are. They don't necessarily want to be out in front of the camera. They don't do interviews. They just want to do that. Just for the love of it, not for prestige.
That's his comfort zone. And so, but people have been taking advantage of that for years on him. So I got him under my wing now. Nobody's going to crook him anymore. He's going to get his just due, but you're going to hear a lot of music from him. Because the boy is real, and I want him to benefit most from this. That's one of my main goals, to see Earl get his just due. But other than that, anybody that got something, that's got an inkling, old school guys that don't feel like Doc Ice. We told Doc, just send me some acapellas, man, and you'll be happy. Old school guys, send me some acapellas, you'll be happy. Ask Doc. Listen to his song, We Singing, on the album. That's Doc Ice from UTFO. That shit is bang. Bumpy.
I will have to check it out. I will definitely have to check it out.
You definitely got to. We brought Breeze out of retirement with this album.
Yes, yes. So this album is out right now. So what do you have going on? What does the future look like? What are you getting ready to do?
Film and television. Film and television is the new Black A&R. That's the Black music department for the entertainment industry. You know, the record companies don't have Black music departments anymore. Film and television is our Black music department. So you got to create content, and I'm going to create some content. I have a couple of things in the works. I got a documentary called Straight Outta Sun Village. That's where we are right now. I have a comedy. Tell me how many weed movies have failed.
I don't know. I tend to like kind of weed movies. I love the
weed movies that never fail. So we have this movie. It's called Dank. Huh? Yeah, yeah. The culture follows. You know, whatever is going on in the weed culture, they follow it. So we have a really entertaining movie called Dank: The Quest for Euphoria. And I promise you, it's not just your regular, ordinary weed movie. It's not slapstick. It's a combination of The Wizard of Oz meets Jumanji. You know what I'm saying? It's really, it's got a lot of twists. And it's really, really funny. It's not your regular, everyday weed movie. It is so hilarious. When I say it's hilarious,
it's hilarious. So it's deep. It has twists. It has turns. It's not just someone sitting on the couch getting high for an hour.
It's an adventure. It's an adventure.
Okay.
You won't forget. I promise you. But that's in the works right now.
Okay.
And then there's a big budget movie too I want to work on. It's called The Throne's Attendant. Yeah, it's the story of Satan before he got thrown out of heaven.
Now that has to be interesting because we always want to know exactly what did you do. You had to
piss him off like that.
Kicked out of heaven, you know what I mean? So yes, absolutely.
Like getting kicked out the club. What did you do? Dang.
You had to have done something. Everybody else is in heaven but you.
Right. Oh, in between all that, I came up with an invention. I forgot to tell you about that.
What is
an invention? It's called scubs. They're skate subs. What it is, you remember the spinner rims? The ones that have the rims that have the spinners? I make them for skates and skateboards.
That's interesting. And they're for sale?
Yes, they're on the market. They're called scubs. www.scudbros.com. They were in the movie ATL.
Oh, wow.
Also in the video by Jessica Simpson called Public Affair. And they were also in the T.I. video called What You Know About That. They were all in those videos.
Oh, wow. So you have some secrets of your own that people don't know. So you're a producer, you have your company, you're working on music, you're working on film and television. And you have a new invention.
Yeah, staying busy. I'm going to relaunch these. You know, Snoop has a pair, Bow Wow has some. You know, Jason Lee has a pair. I can say Jessica Simpson has some. So,
Well, when you relaunch them, let me know. I might be able to help you put a little fire to them, help you get there. Yes. I would love to. Call me. We'll figure that out. So we're down to the last couple of minutes of the show. It has been fabulous. It has been so exciting to have the honor to be able to even sit here and speak with one of the original pioneers of hip hop. And then to watch what you are getting ready to do, I just think it's amazing. So do you have any final closing words for our viewers?
Look out for the return of hip hop.
Okay.
Hip hop. It never went away. It was just sitting in the cut. But I think Eric Sermon is on the same page. Ice Cube, Snoop stuff, real hip hop is on a big comeback. Enough of the bullshit. Let's go, baby.
We love it. You have heard it here with Mr. Dwayne Muffla. Simon, I am Sharifah Hardie. Make sure to check out the website, Covert Entertainment Soundworks.com. Until next time, thank you for joining us as a guest today, Mr. Simon.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Anytime when these artists drop, I hope to see you again.
When those artists drop, you give me a call, send me a message that say, we got somebody you need to talk to, because we will definitely make it happen. So make sure to check out the website and follow Mr. Simon, because I'm sure there's going to be more exciting announcements coming soon. And until next time, again, I'm Sharifah Hardie.
Bye, Sharifah.